Today, Charts Today comes to you from Miami Beach. I'm standing here on the Ocean Drive. It's a big night here last night. It's going to be an even bigger night tonight because, of course, tomorrow is Independence Day, 4th of July, and it's election day in the UK as well, so it's going to be quite a big day tomorrow. I'm flying back to the UK tonight, but I thought I'd just share my morning walk with you before we take a look at the charts, so let's get down to it. So I'm back in my room, and let's take a quick look at the markets before I head out to client meetings. So first of all, looking at the dollar, looking a bit range bound at the moment. We see here the key levels on the dollar and just falling away over the last 24 hours. So we are just in this consolidation phase. Key thing is, can we make a new high above this 106.50 level? So that's going to be key to watch. And then, of course, looking at the euro, that's then seeing a little bit of strength on that slightly weaker dollar, waiting for this upside target to activate. But we have seen this declining pattern on the daily chart. This is the 60-minute chart, so my medium-term view here and my short-term view. So waiting to see if we activate that target, but of course it would be a counter trend move versus the daily. Of course, all eyes on sterling with the UK elections happening tomorrow, and we see here we've had a real resurgence from 126.10 to 127.20, so over a cent's move there in the last 24 hours, so really quite significant there. We do have this upside target that was given back in March on the daily, but we really do need to see a break of around 129 to activate. Well, it is activated, but to really see that target in train. So we are still holding above the cloud there on the daily, so looking a bit stronger against the dollar. Bitcoin is looking quite interesting as well. We are seeing this consolidation phase actually starting to break down. We've really fallen away from sort of the low 60s to just breaking 60,000 at the moment. We're just holding 60,000, but we do have this new downside target to 43,000, and of course we've got a big upside target. So real conflicting picture here, but this consolidation phase is starting to look a bit more of a top than a continuation. So definitely one to watch. Keep an eye on the shorter term charts. Looking at the Nasdaq, still looking pretty bullish, has to be said, despite people calling market tops this week. We're seeing here making new highs, so there's really no signs of a top. This target that was given last week now actually almost met, and we've still got this big upside target in train, still some 20% away. So it's hard to be bearish when you're seeing the charts making new highs. Looking at the S&P future, we see here that we are also pushing higher, not quite as bullish as the Nasdaq, and we do have a little bit of resistance around this sort of 55.70 area. So just be interesting to see whether we can break that. In the UK, the FTSE is up 0.5% this morning, has been in decline, just running into the election, a bit of jitters here. If we move to new lows, it'll be very interesting to see the market reaction tomorrow. Market has pretty much priced in a Labour government. If we move to the new lows, we activate this downside target, and that move there, then the pullback, and then the activation. So that's taking us to 7,700, down nearly about 7% from where we are. So be very interesting to see. And of course, short term, we are below the cloud. Key to watch those, holding those levels. Looking at Paris, because this has been another one that's been really very interesting. Our elections in Paris, we're seeing this really dramatic movement as well. And we have got this downside target, and of course we have the second round elections coming this weekend, so it'll be very interesting to see how the market reacts if that right-wing majority is even increased. Looking at crude oil, we see that's looking pretty strong as well. We're pushing back above the cloud. These targets still very much in train. We've got an upside target here, some 4.5% higher, back above $90 on Brent. We do have a downside target though, but we are holding above the cloud, so quite interesting there. US NatGas has been pretty bearish of late. It's falling back below that 270 level, which was pretty key, and we are now seeing below 250 with downside targets in place. So the short term is not looking great there either. Taking a look at gold, we are up this morning nearly 1%, looking stronger again. This upside target is massive for gold, and silver up nearly 3.5% this morning. So we are seeing really big moves there.
big upside targets on the short-term chart, and of course this daily chart has big upside targets as well, so keep an eye on those targets. It's going to be quite key. US 10-year yields just have been falling back of late. It's quite interesting just seeing that just on the daily chart, that topping pattern. We are in a very sort of choppy markets, uncertain conditions. Will the Fed raise or hold, or will they cut? And increasingly the market is starting to think that they won't be cutting. So we're seeing a lot of uncertainty in yields. Looking at tech, we see Apple looking pretty strong still. Making new highs there. Remember, stocks making new highs is bullish. Amazon is another one making new highs, having broken out of this consolidation phase. So really quite a strong chart there. If we look at Microsoft, also looking very strong with upside targets there generated. Another upside target there, 14% away, breaking out of that consolidation phase and running again. So really interesting. No short-term targets, but still looking pretty good. All eyes on Nvidia, of course. And the key thing is, have we made a top on Nvidia? There's a shortage of upside targets on the daily chart now. It's all about, can we break 140 to go higher, or will we break below the 117 level and go lower? And we see here on this short-term chart, we've got this downside target very much pointing lower. But just watching these key levels, if we break that level, that's going to be really quite key. News out last night from Tesla, better than expected production numbers, and was up 10% in aftermarket. So we're going to see probably a big move there from Tesla. We did mention the fact that we have actually moved back above the cloud there on the daily chart, and so really quite significant. We are seeing a recovery there. We'll be fighting resistance levels, of course. That's the thing. When you're recovering, you've got to fight the resistance levels all the way back up again. That's it for today from Miami. Back in London tomorrow. Until then, happy charting. Bye for now.